All right. I have fun training here for us tonight. And it is a little bit of, it's some notes I took from a training that I heard with Ed Mylett, and I heard him speak. This training is from like a couple weeks ago. I was on something and I heard him speak. He is one of my favorite speakers, one of my favorite motivational speakers. I've been listening to him for years. He's got a podcast that's fun to tap into. He's into a lot of like super intense health things. So you got to look and see what the podcast is about, because sometimes he goes down a rabbit hole with all of his health stuff. So, but he is a great motivational speaker, and he has such a great energy and vibe. He reminds me of Tony Robbins, but not quite as intense as Tony Robbins. Like if you ever listen to Tony Robbins, he is really intense. Is he really muscly? Yeah, that's him. That's the guy. Yeah, so he like Tony Robbins is really intense, kind of in your face about like all the things you're doing wrong, right? And Mylett is not that way. Jenny's laughing. She's not a huge Tony Robbins fan. She finds value in the things he talks about, but she doesn't like his delivery. We've had talks about him. So Jenny, you might like Ed Mylett because he's motivational, he's uplifting, he's got that energy that just is kind of that intenseness. But he has some really great perspectives on things, and he has a background in direct sales. So that always is that's a plus. That's a mark in the plus column for me, is if whoever I'm listening to, whether they're training, motivating, whatever it is, if they have a background in direct sales, that's like, yeah, all right, they're speaking my language, they understand, right? All right, so that is kind of who this is about. And I left the book in the other room. So he has a book. He has a couple books, but he has one that just came out, and it's something about the one, or the power of one. It's not the power of one. It's one more, the power of one more, something like that. If I think about it, I'll go grab it and show it to you guys. But it just came out just a while ago. And so this interview that I took these notes from was him talking a bit about his book. But there were some really good nuggets in there. And one of the things I like about him too is he really uses like life stories, and he uses real life examples, even if they aren't his personal stories. It's somebody that like, even if he's talking about somebody famous, it's somebody that most people know, right? So he references, sports people and things like that are current. And so you can kind of like, oh yeah, I know who that guy is, right? So those are just kind of some of the things I like about this guy. But you can form your own opinion, because everybody has their favorite trainers, and then trainers that they're not crazy about, and all the good stuff. So Ed Mylett is who I'm talking about, for those of you that just tuned in. So this is kind of like a little brief overview sort of about what his new book is about. But again, he had some really good nuggets in there. And I actually listened to another training with him over the weekend. And I might share a story from that, because it's just like so cute, and it's about mindset. And it's a story about his son, and it's just a really cute story. And again, it's something that you can kind of relate to, right? Especially like when I first started in direct sales, my kids were 2 and 3, my older two. Let me close this door. One of them is taking a test right now, so I probably should keep my voice down, but I can't do that. So I'll close the door. So, but when I first started in direct sales, my kids were 2 and 3. And when they're at that age, when I started in Tupperware, they were 2 and 3. When I started in direct sales, they were 1 and none. Okay. So at that age, there are so many milestones that happen, and we don't realize like just seriously, the amount of things that they're learning and processing and overcoming is just insane. Right. And so I love looking at small children as they're learning to walk, as they're learning to become more independent, as they're learning those things, because as adults, somewhere along the way, we stop pushing ourselves the way that a child does, right? Because a child is just so determined to do what you're doing, or what an older sibling is doing, or their cousin, or anybody that they see, that they just have this determination to figure it out, figure out how to crawl, figure out how to walk, figure out how to color, figure out how to hold a pencil, they just have this determination that is just like such a strong vision that even when they fall down, even when they skin their knee, even when they, they still get back up and they try again, right? I remember one time we were at a wading pool and these kids started getting really crazy. And I was with my sister-in-law and I was with Dakota. And this little, it was a kiddie wading pool, right? So it's like maybe 2 or 3 feet deep, right? But she was a toddler. So a little sort of like wave came along because these kids were being really rambunctious. And the wave just kind of took her out and she went down. So I picked her up and I got her back going and she hit the water like, how dare you knock me down, right? But then she tried again, right? She tried again to hold on to the bar and to go further into the pool and all of that. A lot of times as adults, when the wave comes and knocks us down, we're like, oh, that didn't work. This isn't for me. Instead of being like, okay, that didn't work. Let me figure out another way, right? Here's another funny story. This one's of Ella. Oh my God, she cracks me up. Like, and I've told this one story of her, but I don't know if I've told this story. So we went on vacation and we met this other family and there were these 2 boys and they were twins and they were between the ages of Dakota and Ella because they were like 18 months apart. So these boys were between the age of them, right? And Ella kind of had this little crush on this boy. They were like first grade, like, I mean, they're really young, but she just kind of like, you could see the hearts in her eyes about this boy. And so he played baseball. So he was out there playing catch with his brother, right? And Ella's like, came out and they're like, hey, do you want to play with us? And she's like, yeah. So she's got the glove. This kid throws the ball. It bounces off the glove and hits her in the face. And she got so angry. She took the glove, threw it down, marched into the house. And the boy looks at his mom and he was kind of like, and the mom even said to me after when we were kind of digesting what just happened, she was like, yeah, I saw her walk away. And I thought, well, that's the end of her. No, she comes back out with her bicycle helmet on, grabs the glove and is like, game on, hit me again. Like, that's that determination, right? She figured out another way. She wanted to participate. The way she was doing it wasn't working. So she got creative. Was a, I don't think a bicycle helmet was going to help protect her face, which is what she got hit. But to her, it was some sort of shield, right? So that is kind of the determination that we need to remember. We all have this in us. We were born with it, right? That's how we learned to walk. That's how we learned to ride a bike. That's how we learned how to ask for things. That's how we learned how to work the system, right? Work our parents against each other, work our siblings to do our chores for us, all those things. Right? We all did it, right? We still have that within us to be able to do that. So we need to tap into that. All right. So we are all one decision away from changing our life. We're one recruit away from exploding our business. On a director call just recently, Pam brought up, she was like, I can count maybe 4 or 5 times in all the years I've been in business where I brought one recruit in and that recruit changed the atmosphere of the company. And it was, and she's right. I can remember that. And now for me, it's not even like, did that recruit produce? Did that recruit step up? Did that recruit do those things? No, sometimes they didn't. But what they did do was they reignited me and they reminded me of the leader that I wanted to be. They reminded me of the mentor that I wanted to be because I wanted to rise to the occasion because I was so into whoever this recruit was, right? Because they brought an energy and that energy re-energized me. It was like a B12 shot in the arm. And I'm like, oh, wow, I haven't felt this way in a while. Like, this feels good. I want more of this. And so it just ignited me to keep recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. And so sometimes that person's personality came in and they kind of, rose in the ranks and did stuff like that. Sometimes that did happen. But some of my best recruits just ignited me. They didn't even come in necessarily and make a difference in numbers and recruiting and team size. They didn't necessarily make a difference on paper, but it ignited me. And so that's what I want you to think about. So your identity in life is like a thermostat. And so thermostat's job is to stay the same temperature no matter what is going on outside, right? It could be it could be a real feel of negative 20 outside, right? And our thermostat's at 71, right? So it doesn't matter what's going on outside. It could be 105 outside and our thermostat's at 71. That's the way we need to be. All this craziness could be going on around us, and our thermostat set at 71, and we're like, that's cool. We're calm, right? And we're letting all that stuff happen, and we're not reacting to it. We're not reacting to the temperatures outside. We're not reacting to all the things that are going on, right? All we're doing is staying in our identity, right? Our identity as a leader, as a person, as a human, right? As a friend, as a mom, as a husband, as a wife, as a spouse, significant other, as a, all of those things, that's our identity, right? And so, so when people, so our temperature is our self-worth. And so it is what is it that we believe we are deserving? Are we deserving to have that even temperature that's nice and calm and cool and comfortable? Or do we feel like we deserve to be the up and down, right? When it gets hot outside, we go hot. When it gets cold outside, we go cold. When we do all those things, what do we believe that we deserve? I know that I deserve to be 71, right? I want to be sunny and 70 all the time. That's my favorite temperature, right? Sunny and 70 all the time, right? That's what I want to be. And I want to be that safe haven. I want to be that comfortable place for all these people that are in my life, people in my business, people in my team, people that I know through the business, people, my family, my friends. I want to be that steady Eddie person right there for them. So 3 things make up our identity: our faith, right? Our connection to, before I give any sort of a training, before I do anytime I like take the stage or do anything like that, I always pray. And my prayer is always the same. God, please give me the words that somebody in this room needs to hear tonight. That's it. That's all I ask. I'm like, God, give me the words. And sometimes I say, give me the courage, because sometimes when I'm up there and I want, like at a party is a good example, because I used to get so nervous talking about the business, especially if I was prejudging people. One of my first parties was my mom. My mom threw a party for me. Okay. My mom was a teacher at the high school that I went to. So guess who was sitting in that room? My high school teachers. Well, that was intimidating, right? And I remember freaking in. Okay, we call it in my house when you're freaking in, when you're freaking out, but nobody else knows it, so you're freaking in. So I'm like freaking in, like, oh my gosh, I have to talk to all my high school teachers about the business. They don't want to sell Tupperware, like they've got jobs, right? I was like totally losing my mind. And then I said this whole inner monologue to myself, was probably going while I was actually demoing, right? Because my mind's like, And I told myself, Ellen, if you chicken out right now, all you're doing is making it that much easier to chicken out next time, and the time after that, and the time after that. You have to do it. So I did it. It wasn't pretty, I can tell you that right now. Thank goodness this was before like videoing anything, or it wasn't virtual or anything, because we're recording out there. But, it wasn't pretty. I stuttered and stammered through it. So nobody joined my team, but that's okay. But I did it. And so next time I was like, okay, whatever room I go to next, whatever time I go to talk about somebody about the business next, it's not going to ever be as hard as this was. And so it's important to do that. And so, and that's what led me to this prayer. When I say, thank you, thank you for this opportunity, God, please give me the words and the courage to say them to whoever needs to hear them in this room tonight, on this Zoom tonight, wherever it is that in this house tonight, right? And so, and I always feel like I'm always there for a reason. So whether there's one person in the room or 100, I am there for a reason, and I am there to connect with somebody. And I may never know who it was. I may never know who I impacted that night, because they don't come forward, right? But I just know, like I know that I impacted somebody, and that's all I need to know, right? That's my job. All right. So, and also just kind of as you're working throughout the day, connect to that faith, reconnect, just ground yourself in that. And then the second thing is your intentions. All right. What are your intentions in this business? What is your intention in your life? My intention is to change lives, because my life has been changed. My life has been changed by the friendships that I've forged in Tupperware. My life has been changed by the income that I've been able to produce for my family. My life has been changed by all these people that I meet all the time, whether I bring them into the business or you bring somebody into the business and we happen to connect on a Zoom, regardless of whether or not in an upline, downline, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? And I intend to make a difference. I intend to make a difference every single day, every single day. And so those are my intentions every day when I wake up, is to change lives and to make a difference. Now, the third thing that makes up our identity is our associations. Be careful who you associate with. You know, my mom used to always be like, Ellen, you are who you run with, right? Did your parents ever say that to you? You are who you run with. And I didn't necessarily run with, like, I didn't run with a bad crowd, but I didn't run with a crowd that I would identify myself with. But they were my friends and I liked them, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? But it was just, it was so, but those words always stuck in my head. And now it's not necessarily like you are who you run with, but those people influence who you are in your identity, right? Because if you're around people all the time that are telling you what you're doing is a waste of time, guess what? You're going to start believing it. So everybody has a voice in their head, right? We all have that voice in our head that tells us like, oh, you know, oh, you're not good. You shouldn't do that, blah, 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 right? Good, bad, whatever the voice is. And I remember when I first started in Tupperware, people would talk about the voice in your head. They're like, oh, what's your gremlin in your head or something? I don't know. I even almost bought this book. There was something about silencing the gremlins. But then I realized everybody was talking about that voice. The worst part of the voice in your head is it's your own voice telling you can't do it. And it wasn't my voice in my head. It was somebody else's. It wasn't my voice. My voice wasn't telling me I couldn't do it. I didn't believe that, but it was somebody else in my life. And when you have to be careful of those associations, there are going to be people in your life that are working against you, but you can't really disassociate from them, right? Because you love them, because they love you. They just, for whatever reason, don't believe in what it is you're trying to do, or they're trying to protect you because they're afraid you're going to get hurt. So what I did was, when I would be talking to this person on the phone and they started to say something negative, whether it was about me, and a lot of times that negativity wasn't about me. It was about everybody else. It was making fun of the person on the news. It was, you know, the gossiping about somebody that I remember from high school that was failing. It was all of these things, right? And so I'm like, I can't do that, because when I would put myself in that place of vulnerability, you know what I heard? That's a really pretty skirt, but I don't know why she would wear that. It looks awful on her. That's what I would hear. I'd hear that voice judging me at every pass, every moment, right? And so I had to, in my way, I couldn't disassociate, right? Because I love them. I still do. I always will. But the moment the conversation started to go there, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. The baby's crying. Oh, I gotta go. The babe just woke up. Oh, I gotta go. You know, this one dropped a toy on this one's foot. You know, like I just make up some reason why I needed to stop the conversation. Oh, okay, sorry. And we'd get out of the conversation. But that was my way of disassociating with that negative side of this person. So that's just some food for thought. So if you're sitting there, because I remember listening to these trainings and they were like, if you're with somebody who is a procrastinator, you need to leave them. Like I literally heard a trainer basically talking about like marriages splitting up because somebody hit snooze. And I was like, okay, that's not an option here. And my husband loves the snooze button. Okay. You know, but I was just like, that's so unrealistic. But you figure out ways to work around it so that it's not affecting you. And that's why I wanted to give you that example. So if you're thinking about somebody that, you know, is not necessarily the biggest fan of you and your business and what you're trying to accomplish here, and they don't see your vision, that doesn't mean you have to stop talking to them. It means that you can kind of gently move the conversations this way and that. And the funny thing is that person that was always gossiping and doing all those things, and that was the voice in my head, right? Now, I have slowly over time, you know, when they go that direction, I put a positive spin on it. And to the point where before they will start talking, they'll go, well, I know what you're going to say. You're going to tell me not to be so negative. And I'm like, yeah, I am. So don't bother saying it. Like, you know, and it's a joke. And so you can kind of transform those associations to your favor. All right. So Wayne Dyer believes, I love Wayne Dyer. If anybody doesn't know who he is, Google him. Unfortunately, he's passed away, but his work lives on and he is just absolutely amazing. He used to be a PBS speaker. He was always on PBS and he had those specials and they would do the, you know, whatever they are, the fundraising-a-thon things, right? He was a lot of times one of the speakers, but I just absolutely loved his work. And so Wayne Dyer believes we will change the world, that we are brilliant. When you don't connect your identity with your achievements or your bank account, always attach your identity to your intentions. So what are those intentions? My intention is to change lives. My intention is to make a difference. You need to think about what your intentions are in your business, in your life, as a human. What are your intentions, right? So when people change their mindset, they will change their identity and they could potentially change the entire family tree, right? A lot of times you look at a family and you see that one person that changed the trajectory of that family. I would be willing to bet Pam Clift is that one person in her family that changed the financial trajectory of her family, helping some of her family members believe that they could be people of faith and make money, right? I would be willing to bet she is that one person. Are you that one person for your family? It's not always about money, right? It's about bringing in that positive energy. If you have a fan, like Pam talks about the crabs in the bucket, right? And so the bucket of crabs doesn't need a lid because when the crab tries to crawl out, the other crabs pull it back down, right? Some of us have families like that. Some of us have friends, groups of friends like that, right? Very small-minded thinking. They don't understand what it is you're doing. Every time you try to get ahead and you try to be positive, they pull you back down, right? So many people have that. You could be that one crab that gets out of the bucket. And then you build a platform beside the bucket and you tell all those other crabs it's possible, right? You could be that one, you know? And so think about that you could be the one that changes that for your family, that helps your kids see that, hey, I could get a college education even if I'm 50 years old. I could have a healthy lifestyle, even though diabetes runs rapid in my family. I could be a positive influence on the world, even though all around me is poverty and negativity. You know, you could be that one. So you filter what is important to you, right? This business is great, but it won't work where I am, right? How many times do you hear somebody say like, oh, this business is great, but you don't understand where I live. Nobody has any money. You don't understand where I live. Nobody's into Tupperware. Nobody cooks. You don't understand, and all of that. And that's a belief. As long as you tell yourself, that's literally what you're going to find. If you tell yourself that there are people just like you in your community that are wanting to see a better way, that are wanting to help, their food budget, extend their food budget by being able to keep produce longer. If you tell yourself that there are people just like you in your neighborhood that are looking for some sort of an income opportunity to make some extra money so that they can pay all the bills in the same month, right? That's what you'll find. And so just kind of like when you buy a new car, you start seeing it everywhere, right? Because that's what's become important to you. You're excited about your new car, or maybe you're looking at cars and then you start seeing those cars everywhere because it's important to you. Your brain is like filtering it. And that's what you're seeing. It's the same thing with recruits, right? When you start looking for recruits, that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to find. You're going to start seeing those opportunities everywhere. You're sitting somewhere and you overhear somebody in line talking about that their spouse's job, their hours just got cut and they don't know how they're going to manage to get by, right? Ding, ding, ding. You have a solution for that, right? But will you have the courage to go through that, right? To go ahead and open your mouth, to say something, and just like when you're having a conversation, it's so amazing. Like when we're on like a recruiting kick, like all of a sudden, all of the people, like my friends, family members start confiding in me about their financial woes or about that they need more flexibility and all this other stuff. I'm like, ding, ding, ding. I have a solution. Like, you know? And so it's important, but I believe we have everything we need to succeed. It's already in and around us right now. We know instinctually what to do, right? We have all the tools. So, all right, so you don't always hit your goals, but you always hit your standards. So what are your standards? It's so important to realize, what are your standards in your life? All right, so start keeping the promises that you make to yourself. Okay, so this one hits home for me. And I'm sure some of you, it hits home for you as well. And it's okay, because we are in this boat together. Okay, so you can admit it. This is a safe space. All right, so keep your promises that you make to yourself, right? Because it will help you become more successful, more confident. Why is it that we kill ourselves keeping promises to other people? Sometimes people we don't even like. Your boss, your nosy coworker, right? We keep promises to them, right? And then we dismiss a promise we made to ourselves in the blink of an eye. I'm gonna eat healthy today. Hey babe, you want me to hit the drive-thru on the way home from work? Yeah, that sounds great. I'm not gonna drink today. Hey babe, you want me to grab a bottle of your favorite cab? It's on sale. Yeah, do it, grab it. I will recruit 3 people this week. Hey, want to go swimming? Want to meet me for happy hour? Want to watch a movie with me? Want to binge watch a show on Netflix? We have to stop this. We have to stop this now. We owe it to ourselves, right? We owe it to ourselves. So let's talk about one more, or the power of one. We've talked about the power of one before, right? And the difference between winning and losing is so small, we don't even want to talk about it. That minute difference is the one more. And I'm going to give you an example of a piñata, okay? We've all experienced a piñata, whether we've actually hit one or if we've watched people hit them, right? It's not the first hit that breaks the piñata, not typically. Occasionally there's somebody gets a lucky shot in there, but it's not the first hit, right? The first kid goes, gets blindfolded, gets a little direction from an adult because they're going the wrong direction, right? They hit the piñata, nothing happens. The next kid, same thing. Next kid, same thing. Next kid, same thing. Finally, they're down to the last kid in the room, the smallest kid. It's a little sibling of somebody that's there. And they walk up, they hit the piñata, and boom, it's an explosion of candy, right? Was it this kid who actually broke the piñata? No, it was all the hits that broke the piñata. But that's the power of one more. Imagine if they stopped there. They wouldn't have experienced the raining down of candy, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to parties, when it comes to anything in this business. Imagine if we stop, we will not get the candy. We have to keep going, right? We have to keep going. And so most people suffer from leadership fatigue because they think it's saying new things to old people, when really it's about saying old things to new people, right? When you start thinking they've already heard this, I can't train on that, they've already heard this. Well, guess what? That's a recruiting problem. That's a recruiting problem. We need new people. So here's, and the big thing is that that communication around, here's where we're going, here's where we're headed. This is where I feel, this is what I feel like, this is what it looks like, right? Leaders fatigue on selling the dream when they're living the nightmare, right? And that's what happens when we're not bringing in those new people. And so selling the dream needs to be our superpower, like hands down, no 2 ways about it. It needs to be our superpower, right? People need hope. People need hope right now more than anything. They need hope. And people need to believe our job as a leader is to sell the dream. That is literally our job as a leader, is to sell the dream. And to give people hope, you know, and just be like, I'm doing something that's amazing. And if you stick with me, we'll do it together. Come with me. You know, it's funny. I have this picture. I actually have a postcard right here with the picture on it. So when it comes to, like, I've been working this past weekend, I was working on like my vision, right? My vision for what it is that I want in the business. And I've always said that my vision is, you know, like, I want to help people. Like I want to help more people make the money, right? Whether it's $600, you know, I mean, years ago when I first started, they said, it's so sad because people are losing their homes over $400 a month. That's what they're short, is $400 a month. That's it. Now it's $600. So people are losing their homes. They're falling behind financially over $600 a month. $600 a month. That's it. We can make 600, or we can show people how to make $600 a month, and they could save their home. They could keep from falling down that quicksand trap of financial, problems. We can do that. $600, right? And so, so when I think about my vision as a leader, this is what I see. Do you see that? I don't want my vision of leadership to be this. I never want that. I don't want to be standing at the top of the hill going, yeah, I did it. I did this. Look at me. That's not my idea of success. My idea of success is reaching down and helping the other people get that $600 a month. That's it. Get that $600 a month. And if they want more, great. Whatever that is. I'm giving the example of $600 a month. You know, it's so important to never stop selling the dream. Do it over and over and over again. You put it on repeat. At any given time, most of my team members, they're ready to quit, right? I need to sell the dream, right? They're frustrated. They got home from work. Their internet's out again. They can't watch the Zoom again. Their children are tugging on them or wanting their attention, their spouse, whoever, again. They're too tired. They're just like, I just need to eat some food, like shut off my brain, watch Netflix and go to bed, right? They're tired. And so it's my job to sell the dream. And you're one recruit away. Always remember this, one recruit away from an explosion. And that person needs you to say it. They need you to talk to them about the business like it's the first time you've ever talked to anybody about the business. I remember when I first started in Tupperware, I remember I listened to this trainer and they were just like, how are your parties? Are they stale? Are they exciting? Do you like them? Do you have fun? And I remember thinking, yeah, my parties are fine. Like, I was like, nah, I'm kind of bored with them, right? Because when you're doing so many parties, you just get kind of bored with it. You're just like, I'm kind of bored with it, And so, and then they said, well, here's the thing. This may be your 10th party of the month. It may be your 100th party of the year or the 100th party of your lifetime. It might be that host one and only party they host their entire life. And I was like, well, damn. I'm like, that's a lot of pressure. I was like, I need to get more excited. Like, this might be their only experience with Tupperware, with a party. Like, I need to get excited. I need to show up. Like, it just, and that's the thing. When it comes to recruiting, when it comes to offering the opportunity, when it comes to any of those sort of things, you need to approach it like, this is the one that this is the one that's going to make the explosion in your team. You have to approach it from that perspective, because this may be the only impression they ever have of direct sales. This may be the only impression they ever have of Tupperware, of you. And you want to make sure it, even if they tell you no, that it leaves such a lasting impression. I've had people that say, you know what, Ellen, no, I'm not interested. But I tell you what, if I ever decide to do direct sales, I'm calling you. I've had people say that to me. And I was just like, well, that's an awesome compliment. I love that. Like, I was like, I love that. Please do, because that will be my lucky day. I feel like I've won the lottery the day you call me. I have somebody that is that person for me right now. She's told me no 4 years. 4 years. And I keep asking her. And man, when I get her, it doesn't matter if she steps up, if she makes $1 million, that doesn't matter. I am going to be so freaking excited that she's on my team and she will be my one, because it excites me. I've known this girl since she was a teenager. She used to work for my husband and I at our store. and she was amazing them. Her brother was in our wedding. When she says yes to me, I'm going to be so excited. You just wait. Like, you will see the announcement on the champion team page, because she will say yes to me at some point. I know it. I know it. Like I know it. Like I know it, because I keep asking. Right. But she, that's the way we need to approach every single recruit. You need to tell that vision to yourself one more time. One more time. Remind yourself why you said yes in the first place. Remind yourself why you're excited about the business, what the possibilities are. You need to tell that vision to yourself one more time. And then you're going to need to do it again and again and again. You need to go to your mentors and say, tell me one more time. One more time. Why am I doing this? One more time. I've called Pam before and I'm just like, I need a pep talk. This isn't going well. I'm not liking this. My team's not talking to me. I think they lost my number. They're blocking me. No, I don't know if anybody actually blocks me, but it feels that way some days, right? And I'm like, please tell me one more time how this is going to work out. And she's like, okay, pal. And she fills me up, right? Fill me up. Part of unlocking ourselves is unlocking others as well, right? But we can't unlock others if we don't unlock ourselves, if we don't pour into ourselves that vision and remind ourselves why we're doing this, what it looks like, what it's going to feel like when the day finally comes, right? We need to get out of our own heads and get into action. And there's no two ways about it. So how many people have the ability to transform somebody's life? How many people have the job to transform people's lives like we do? And that's truly what we're offering. I know for a fact, this has transformed my life. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, this has transformed Jenny's life. I can say that. I coach her. I know her, right? And I'm sure there are others of you that it has transformed your life in some way, shape, or form. And transformation is not about money. It's not about title. It's about, are you better than when you came, right? Do you have a better outlook? Do you have a purpose? Are you not as depressed? Are you picking up, are you cleaning the clutter out of your house? Are you, because sometimes that's what you need. You need the shot in the arm so you can do the daily do, right? And so it's important to recognize that's what we're offering. We are offering to transform people's lives in one way, shape, or form. And we have the power, and we have to keep doing it, because we have no idea who it is. We have no idea who the person is that we're truly going to impact. We have no idea. I've had people that have come in and they did meh in the business, right? But they're like, I wouldn't have had the courage to stand up in front of my church and do a presentation today if it hadn't been for my Tupperware business. And I'm like, yes, I love that. I love that. I have people that came into the business and they were like, I would not have been able to modular make my cupboards if it hadn't been for the Tupperware business. Yes, I love that. It's making your life easier every single day. That's transformation. So don't get in your head about transformation is making six figures. No, it's not. No, it's not. Could it be? Sure, absolutely. It could absolutely be that, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be things that show up on paper. It's a mood. It's uplifting. It's all those things. So the benefit of our business is so far beyond the income. When someone joins and stays engaged, and I mean really engaged, showing up, putting into practice things they've been learning for 12 months, their life will change. I can promise you. I can promise you. They'll make friendships on here. I had somebody the other day message me and say, hey, where's so-and-so? I haven't seen them recently on a Zoom. I said, gosh, you know what? I don't know. I hadn't noticed, but you're right. I haven't seen them either. I'm going to ask their leader, which reminds me, I need to ask the leader, but I'm not going to call them out on the call. So, but seriously, that's what it's about. It's about showing up, putting into practice the thing that they've learned. And in 12 months, their life will change. It might change financially. It might change it might change their outlook on life. It might change their confidence, right? Their confidence to be able to get out of, a relationship situation that they didn't have the confidence to get out of before, or to pursue a relationship that they didn't have the confidence to pursue before, right? It doesn't always have to be a negative thing, right? So it's important to recognize that we all have everything we need to succeed in this business in us. We just have to unlock it. And this is how we do it. We unlock it by doing it one more time, by trying one more thing, by reevaluating, going at it from a different angle, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, right? So, yeah, so that's what I got. That's what I got for today. I don't really have any way to end it in a very smooth way. So there we go. Oh my goodness. All right. Does anybody have any questions or ahas? I never cooked before Tupperware. Oh my gosh, Joni, that is so funny because I had somebody that was on my team for a very long time who did not cook, and they learned to cook in Tupperware. Like they literally didn't cook. Like I showed up. No, when I say they didn't cook, I mean, they really didn't cook. I showed up to her house to do a party, and her husband had to work that night unexpectedly. And he literally left Post-it notes all over her kitchen with what to do, including one, be careful when you pull this out of the microwave, it will be hot. Like seriously, she knew nothing. And so, yes, she learned how to cook in Tupperware. So she's like you.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. All right, Rosemary, there are many negative people in the world who do not want to see others succeed. It's so true. Everyone I met through Tupperware is very encouraging. Well, that's good. Kind, giving, caring, and overly helpful. Overly helpful, like in your face helpful, or overly helpful in a good way. Just kidding. Oh, well, you met Jenny and Pam. Yes, they are overly helpful. And sometimes in your face. No, I'm just kidding. Jenny's like, maybe. Oh my gosh. Awesome, Terry. I love it. I think, Terry, did you get a recruit this week or last week? I think you did. I think I remember seeing your name. Yes. Congrats, Terry. Terry. All right. Anybody else have any ahas? Any questions that they have? Gina, you look really tan. What's going on there? Have you been on vacation, Miss Gina Arnold? No, she's like, no, it's the lighting because you look really tan. You look good. That's a good color on you. Our brains can be your best friend and our worst enemy. Yes, you're right. Yeah. What did you say, Gina?
I said it's the lights or the lack of lights.
Like a lack of light.
Yeah, I only got one light on tonight. So yeah.
I'm never tan. If I'm tan, it came from a bottle. Just so everybody's aware.
I actually have been out in the sun more in the past four weeks than I have in a long time. So that's probably what it is.
Well, that's good. A little vitamin B. Yeah. Or D, I mean.
D.
I don't even know. Oh my God.
Ellen, hey,
Yes.
Ellen, I just wanted to say thank you. I wasn't going to get on. And then after I got off talking to the nurse, I was just so down. And so checking my notifications, I was like, oh, they're probably gone. So I'll just listen. And I'm just so thankful that I did push the button to go Zoom. My mom is back in the hospital. It's not great. And just really down. And may have to put her back in skilled nursing for a couple of weeks. And I was like, what am I do? And as soon as you said, hit the pinata, hit it again, that it just gave me that little bit of extra courage and stuff. And I just know what I'm doing now for next 2 weeks while she's in rehab and in assisted living, and just pray that for her. But in the meantime and stuff, what I wanted to say was, thanks for that one more thing is so real. And that's what I did. I pushed the Zoom button one more time.
Yeah, I love it.
One more time. And I just wanted to tell you thank you for the motivational talk. And I'm probably going to need to record it and just play it over and over and over again, because I feeling behind, I'm feeling so behind. But I did want to tell everybody on the line that is listening to you, one of the other key things that you said was holding out for that young lady. And I had somebody that I was holding out for, and he ended up being, it was a fireman, and he ended up being my number 25 in the region. He was
Nice.
my number 25 because I held out and I
Mm.
kept calling him and kept calling and kept calling. So you have to do that for yourself. You guys put that person in your cell phone and or put it by your mirror and just send them little love notes or emails and just say, why I'm calling you, or just
Oh
little
yeah.
trinkets or whatever. And just let them know that I'm waiting on you. You could
That's
be
what
my
I do.
Christmas
And
present.
oh my God, sure. It's just like that too. I'll be like, are you ready yet? Because I'm still over here. And she's like, I know,
Right,
Ellen, the day's coming. The day's coming. I'm like, I'm waiting.
right. I say send her a Tupperware shirt with her name on the back.
Oh my gosh. That's really funny. She might like that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be praying for you, Shar. I love
Please
that.
do. It's really hard. I'm by myself and my brother gone. I'm used to sharing the load, and with him, I know that's the reason why she's trying to give up.
Yeah. Well, you don't give up. We got you. Okay. Awesome. All right. So we have hot topics starting here in just a minute. Oh, hi, Tina. Look at you with your camera on. Hello. I love it. You're so cute. I haven't seen you in a while. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's see here. Gina said, thank you for your training. Motivate you every time. Yay. Well, thank you. That was very complimentary. I want to be the crab that jumps out of the bucket too. Yes, be the crab. Build yourself a platform and you tell those other crabs, knock it off. I'm like visualizing that and it's just really funny in my head. But anyways, all right, so hot topic. Now Jenny's visualizing it too. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So hot topics is going to be starting here at 9. I'm actually going to close out the Zoom because maybe we can get Lois, maybe we can get Lois to pull this recording for us. She usually doesn't pull these recordings, but that way, Shar, you can watch it again and all that kind of good stuff. So we will do that. Awesome. All right, guys. So if you want to be on for hot topics, just let me kick you out and then go back in. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight.